Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just had a quick question for counsel. Under Section 4B3 of the introduced bill, that states that the terms waters of the United States under the Clean Water Act should not include, quote, water that is located below the surface of the land, including soil and groundwater, unquote. Does this reference to soil water include water in permafrost and water in the saturated soils that lie above permafrost?
Yes, Senator, it does.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for that clarification. Mr. Chairman, if it's okay, I just wanted to respond very briefly. I think this has been a very good debate, as Senator Boxer mentioned. I think that there's a number of us, Senator Cardin mentioned that there's some frustration. I would agree with that. We all certainly want clean water. My city in Anchorage gets awards almost every year for having some of the cleanest, if not the cleanest water in the United States. And it's in large measure to the local and state authorities who make it that way. But we also want to protect the environment. We also want to protect the Constitution and the separation of powers and federal overreach. And one of the frustrations that we've had that's been the motivation behind this bill is, again, I agree with Senator Boxer, the many great employees at the EPA, but they have been acting in a way that exceeds their authority. And this is not just hypothetical. There was a lawsuit last year, Utility Air Regulator Group versus the EPA, where the Supreme Court said in something very similar situation, the EPA issued a regulation under the Clean Air Act. Many opposed that. I was Attorney General of the state of Alaska, opposed that, said the EPA did not have the authority to do that. It was expanding its jurisdiction. The Supreme Court said the only body that can expand the EPA's jurisdiction is this body. And that's what they're trying to do with their waters of the U.S. reg, to expand their jurisdiction. And no one, I believe, on either side of the aisle here thinks that the EPA has the authority to expand its own jurisdiction. That's the crux of the issue here. And let me give you one sense on the frustration of oversight. The EPA administrator has sat before this committee a number of times. I've asked her a simple question. Can you provide the legal basis, the legal opinion under the Clean Water Act that gives you the justification for this rule? Simple. That's oversight. She's never responded. Never responded. And when you get blown off like that in terms of oversight, I think it's exactly the prerogative of the Congress to clarify what the law is and to say where and when they don't have the authority. And that's why I think this is a very important bill. But they need to respond to oversight. And when they don't do it, we need to act. And in this case, they won't even provide the Congress, this committee, an opinion that says, here's our authority under the Clean Water Act to issue this regulation, to issue this rule. They've never responded. And that's outrageous. And she needs to respond to this committee. It's a simple request. It's oversight. It's us doing our job. And they need to do their job by responding. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.